Welcome to the Armory. I'm Nathan. So I'm going to do a little quick response to the speech that the President gave today. He's asking for gun control, and he's talking about pushing some executive orders to help the gun issue. And he kept saying common sense. He kept using the term common sense laws over and over again. He was surrounded by children, or well, the children were over here, and Biden was right here, and the children were over here. And he kept talking about common sense and why haven't we already done this stuff. So let's look at some of the common sense measures he wanted to do. So he wanted to do universal background checks, wanted to beef up the mental illness databases of the FBI, make it easier for you as a psychiatrist, if you're a psychiatrist, to say that guy's nuts and is threatening people, so go take his guns at his house, and that sort of thing. And also, he asked for the assault weapons ban to be reinstated with the magazine restrictions. Same old story there, just wants to reinstitute the Clinton thing, but cut the loopholes out so that no more assault weapons can be sold and no round magazines over 10 can be sold. So let's actually look at some of the tragedies he mentioned. So one of the tragedies he mentioned was Columbine. Columbine occurred back after the first assault weapons ban was passed. A couple 18-year-olds went down to their local gun store, bought a couple guns, bought a couple magazines that were grandfathered, went down to Kmart, bought a bunch of 9mm and loaded up their guns, and then they proceeded to go to their school and set a bunch of homemade high-end explosive devices in the school which failed to explode. Their original plan was to blow up the entire cafeteria and knock the second floor down onto the cafeteria, killing everyone in the cafeteria and above on the second floor. That was the original plan. Then, when people ran out of the building, they were going to shoot at some of them, and then they were going to commit suicide. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for the people in Columbine High School, their bomb detonators failed. And so then they decided, okay, plan B, we'll walk around shooting people and throwing pipe bombs. So they only killed 13 people, but their attempt was to kill probably over half the school, and they almost pulled it off. If their detonators had worked, they probably would have been successful. Again, after the assault weapons ban, and they had never committed a crime, and they bought the guns legally and signed all the paperwork. So again, they would have passed the background checks. These common sense laws wouldn't have prevented Columbine. All right, let's go to the next one. Virginia Tech. Okay, a student at Virginia Tech goes down to the local gun store, buys a handgun, passes a federal background check. All right, waits a week or two, goes down, buys another handgun at the same store. Buys 2 handguns at the same store and passes federal background checks. There was no reason that, in fact, the store owner said, why wouldn't I sell the guy a gun? He has passed background checks and he's a college student. He's a nice kid, I thought. You know, he had no indication the guy was a nutcase. So again, these common sense laws wouldn't have prevented Virginia Tech. All right, what's the next one? Newtown. No, not Newtown. I'm going to go to Aurora first. Aurora, James Holmes, never committed a crime in his life, went out and bought himself a shotgun, a pistol, and an AR-15, all legally, passing all the background checks, waiting all the time periods and all that, and planned it for months ahead. Built a whole bunch of bombs in his apartment, big, you know, fun jazz there, bought a bunch of ammo. Went into that theater and shot his shotgun off, emptied it, started to shoot his AR-15 with a 100-round drum mag. Weapon malfunctions, he only gets, I don't know, 20 to 30 rounds out of it. He doesn't know how to clear a jam, drops that, goes to his pistol, shoots his pistol around a bunch of people, shoots 70 people but only kills 13. And the reason for that is because most of the people who got shot were shot badly, and a lot of them were shot with that pistol versus getting hit with the other higher end ordnance. So again, would he have been stopped from going into that theater? If these laws were in place that the president suggested, he wouldn't have had the AR-15. He'd had the shotgun and the pistol. And without that AR-15, would he have taken a second pistol? Or would he have taken a second shotgun? Who knows? But he would have taken something else in there probably and had 3 weapons, and probably done about the same amount of damage in the end that he accomplished. So again, these would have taken away 1 weapon that he used, but wouldn't have stopped him, and probably would have, might or might not have made a difference in the damage he caused. Okay, so then the last one is Newton. Okay, so my understanding from what I've heard from the press, and I haven't verified this, is the young man in Newtown tried to go and buy an AR-15, yet failed for some reason and couldn't get the AR-15 from the sporting goods store. All right, super. Federal background checking system wins again. Great job. Way to go, Nix checks. That's awesome. So he didn't get his gun. All right, so the disaster was averted. Oh no, wait a second. He knew where to go get a gun. He went to his mom's house, stole her gun, which she legally owned, and shot her. And then went and shot a bunch of kids and some teachers. So I think the lesson we can take from that is that these laws are all nice, except when somebody just circumvents it. I mean, it reminds me of how the French set up a bunch of cannons that pointed at Germany to make sure the Germans couldn't invade them after World War I. And when World War II started, they went up into Belgium and came around the back side of the cannons and took them from the French. And then turned the cannons around and shot them into France. So again, this is the problem with these laws. These criminals will just simply circumvent them. They will go and steal what they want. The guy in Clackamas, Oregon, to my understanding, he stole his AR, but he only shot, 2 people and then shot himself because a concealed carrier pointed a gun at him and he went, uh-oh, this just got real. I've encountered resistance. Plan B, boom, I'm dead. So, again, these laws that the president has suggested would not have prevented any of the tragedies he mentioned. Okay? I don't know about you, but if somebody comes to me and says there's a problem and suggests a bunch of things that wouldn't solve the problem, I mean, why would I listen to that person? I'd say, you're an idiot. You want to protect me, and all the suggestions you just suggested wouldn't have stopped any of the examples you just brought up. I mean, are you retarded? No, wait, you're the President of the United States trying to convince the American public of something, and you know that they're not going to catch on because they don't remember what happened in each one of these incidents like I do, who researched it. Okay, so again, let's talk about universal background checks real quick. Universal background checks, great idea on the surface. I'm going to sell you a gun, and instead of just selling it to you, we go down to the sporting goods store, have a background check done on you to make sure you're not a criminal. I like that idea. The only problem is how does it work if you don't know what guns I have? I could just sell you the gun and not go down to the sporting goods store. How would anyone ever know? You would say, oh, I bought that from Nathan once they caught you. And I'd be like, I didn't sell the crazy mass murderer that gun. It wasn't me. How would they prove it? So that's when I realized that the only way that he's going to get that background check law to function is if he demands in the back that we do gun registration. So the president is suggesting common sense background, universal background checks. And what he didn't say is which will have to have gun registration in order to work. So our lawyer, law professor, president just snuck one in on us and blindsided us with a great idea that really has an ulterior motive to take your guns away in the end, more than likely. Remember, that's what he wants. He wants your guns in the end, at the end of the day. He wants to disarm you for your own safety, to save you from yourself. All right. So, then the assault weapons ban. Again, what type of a problem is an assault weapon in this country? They certainly look mean. They look like a great white shark. But when you look at it, the assault weapons are responsible, well, all rifles in this country are responsible for around 300 to 350 deaths a year. The assault weapons are a subset of the rifle class. So assault weapons kill less than 350 people a year in this country, out of the 11,000 that die from guns every year and are murdered every year. More people, or 728 people were beaten to death with hands and feet last year, and he's going after assault weapons. They're not really that big of a problem in comparison to handguns, which killed over 6,000 people last year. But guess what? He wants your handguns, but he knows you don't want to give him them. So he's going after the great white shark, the assault weapon first. And once he gets your assault weapon, then next he comes after your handgun, which, by the way, you registered with him in order to do that universal background check law that he passed. So you see how this lawyer president is kind of just sucking you in a little bit at a time. He's saying, come here, come here. And the next thing you know, he's baited you and he's pulled you out of the water just like a fish, and he's going to eat you. So again, don't be fooled. He's not looking out for you. He's not really after really preventing criminals from getting these guns. He knows they're going to get them anyway if they're motivated to get a firearm. They're going to get it, and he knows it. So what he's really doing is he's working towards his end goal, his agenda. And his agenda is to save you from yourself by taking away everyone's guns. And the only way to make everyone safe is to make sure he gets every gun that he possibly can. And then everyone will be disarmed and everyone will be safe, like all the other countries where they have gun control, where the violent crime rates typically are higher. Yes, maybe not as many people are murdered with guns there, but a lot more are almost beaten to death on a regular basis. Usually, like England has 3 times our violent crime rate because nobody's scared of getting shot. Here in the United States, we have decreased the violent crime rate and the murder rate. The aggravated assault and murder rate are half of what they were 20 years ago. In 20 years, we have dropped them 50%. They have dropped every year consistently. And guess what else has happened for the past 25 years? For the past 25 years, we have increased the number of concealed carry states from 1 state, Florida in '87, to now 49 states in 2013. So we've been arming more people, letting more people carry guns by giving them concealed carry permits like I have, and now the murder rate is half of what it was 20 years ago. So giving up all your guns, is that the solution? Or is the arming the good guys to keep the bad guys in check the solution? I'm looking at statistics and I'm going with the latter. I'm going with arming the good guys. That's been working just great, and we need to keep on working towards that goal, which has proven results. If it didn't have proven results, why would we go from 1 state to 49 offering some type of concealed carry or open carry permit? Again, every state looks at the other states and goes, wow, that stuff really works. We thought it wouldn't work, but look at the results. What if we had a government that actually looked at results and acted based on actual results instead of what they thought the world should be like? Actually looked at what worked and then implemented it. So, I hope this was good food for thought for you. Thank you for letting me rant to you about all this. I'm very emotional about it. It's something I'm passionate about. And just want all of you to remember, God bless the United States of America, and long live the Republic.